What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and we are going to be looking at some airline stocks. Yay! Is it time to get on the bandwagon and buying these airline stocks and basically the travel section on the basically on the back end of all this coronavirus or Corona-19 scares and the overall shutdown of a lot of events, closing of a lot of different things? Do I want to be catching the falling knife? You know, we talk about that a lot here with the falling knife. I don't like to do that. Some investors like to catch the falling knife, sometimes trying to get it on the way down. It's if you're holding for the long term, I can see it for sure, but if you're just kind of trading it and just trying to swing trade it, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. That being said, we're just going to be jumping in and we'll cover all these airlines. I'm not a big fan of Sprint Airlines, honestly. I had just a bad experience on them, so emotionally and personally, I don't like them. So, that being said, let's go ahead and look at the charts and see what they tell us. So, we're going to start with alphabetical order. We're going to go with, let's just do Alaska, because that was the first one that we just came up on the list. So, that is ALK. So majority of these got a pretty substantial haircut. So hitting the high of last October at 72, and it's been down to 41, which is about a 42% haircut. That's not more of a haircut, that's more of a guillotine cutting through your head. Anyways, yes, this is what a falling hot knife flaming with poison on it. I don't know how else does a falling knife that is coming down. It's basically you're trying to catch the asteroid that got the dinosaurs. So this being said, this is a heck of a drop here. So looking down here, the thing is we have to zoom this out substantially. So if we go just to a week view, this is quite a kick even lower. Basically a really long time low. It's not the all-time low for Alaska, but we're talking about lows that hit basically in 2015 or 2014 hitting to 2015. So this is actually, I kind of like the support line here just on actually gonna create alert. I like alerts better, so if it's gonna go at or below. That is pretty substantial here. You can kind of see here, it kind of held here once, held here twice, and just kind of sliced through that again with a hot butter knife. The overall squeeze here is going to be probably pointing down. So if you're waiting for, this is on a monthly chart. On a monthly chart, it squeezed down. So if you're looking at a weekly chart here, I kind of want this to kind of trade between the 51 and probably 46 to trading sideways and potentially going higher. But this thing has just been so beaten up, there's going to be a lot of people jumping in, getting on the bandwagon on this, because again, on the weekly chart, it's below its 200, which is not a great move. All right, going on to the one I do not like, which is Sprint Airlines, which is SAVE. This thing has been also cut. This is all the charts are going to look quite the same here. On a daily chart, looks terrible. Weekly chart looks really bad. So if we just pop this out on a monthly chart, this thing is hitting its lows. Basically, when this is kind of a newer stock. Since like 2013. So we're looking at 2013, something like that. Again, the overall sell-off in 15, but this thing has just been hammered and basically trading in a range prior to this. So anything above this line right here, which we're going to make it basically, okay, why did it go? There we go. Okay. So basically anything over 35 is going to be somewhat bullish or potential sell. It has to break above this. So the moving averages are all pointing lower on the monthly chart. Okay, we're talking a monthly chart, so these things take quite some time. Each of these candles are months, so this is going to take some time to recover, and it's just going to, I just don't have high hopes, especially for SAFE. Next, we're going to do AAL, which is American Airline Group. We're just going to start on the monthly chart. Again, this thing has been destroyed. This thing hasn't been performing for quite some time. Basically, April of 18. It's just been going down since. So we kick this out to just a daily chart. We're actually going to kick this one to, oops, sorry, not a monthly. I want to go to a weekly on this one. This thing has just been trading lower altogether. Majority of the airlines you'll be looking at kind of start going down in October, but American Airlines Group has just been constantly going down. You can just see the pattern here. If you can't see this, it's the yellow line, 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 and then bada bing, bada bang. Is it a bargain down here? I don't know on a fundamental standpoint, but I'm fairly sure it could be a bargain. I don't know the overall balance sheet. I just trade on the technical side of things, and this thing looks disgusting, really bad. So basically, I want to see if it breaks above this, basically the 1750-ish, and it's got to stay below, kind of be trading sideways to see for where we go from there. Next is actually one of my favorite is LUV, L-U-V, which is Southwest Airlines. And you can kind of see this. You see, this is a better looking pattern. You're not, again, it wasn't below its 200. It actually hit a high of February of this year. Like, a lot of them were a year ago, 18 months ago, 7 months ago. But LUV has been performing substantially well in and around this whole aspect of what's going on here with the virus. On a weekly chart, we are basically on its nearly its 52-week low. So I kind of like it right here. So I want to kind of keep it above the 44.50 level. And if it continually trades sideways here a little bit, and maybe if it dips below 44.50, this is actually one that I'll be looking at to add. So let's go to the monthly chart. Again, this thing probably has a little bit more downside because we're only talking lows of last year. All right. A lot of these, we're talking about a lot of the airline stocks, because this is more of a domestic one that has very strict routes, and it has it's kind of got a mix between like economic friendly, kind of cheap, but it's great airline, and it's got a little fun story behind it and everything. So I really like Southwest Airlines here. Potentially could go lower. Again, this is on a monthly chart. I have a feeling that this could basically kind of pop lower, potentially hitting below 44.50, and I actually really like to be adding to this. Add to this. I don't have this in my portfolio. Again, this would just only be a very long-term hold for me. So that being said, we got to be very mindful of that. And then second to last is going to be Delta. No, third to last. So Delta, D-A-L. Boop. There we go. Again, Delta is on the same level of like a B plus, B minus in my books on an airline compared to LUV. So they're really great airlines. Again, it was trading above its 200 on the daily. Basically, it hit a high though in last summer, but it's been kind of trading sideways. Delta is more of a broader airline that does a lot of more international stuff, but again, we're just talking lows of basically 2017. So I'm going to be creating a alert here as well. So if it goes below this guy, I want to maybe look to add. The overall RSI on the weekly, nowhere near it, but if you go to the RSI on the daily, I'm sure it's going to be basically pinged right around the 44. So anything around the 43.50 level. Kind of want to keep this trading. It's kind of seeing, again, on the daily chart, it still looks like a falling knife, and I don't want to be touching it quite yet on my perspective, unless you are a little more daring and just want to kind of get your foot in the door first. I kind of like see what the temperature in the house is before I walk in. All right, next is Hawaiian Airlines, which I've never flown them before, but I hear a lot of great things about them. They've been trading sideways for quite some time. Again, they were performing slightly better than the other couple, Spirit and American Airline Group, previously, but since February of the whole outbreak, it's just been a falling knife, dropping nearly 50% since its high, but looking at 45%-ish from December all the way down to 1604 of this past Friday. And then on a monthly chart, yikes, it's basically bouncing off its 200. And we're looking at lows in and around in 15. So this is around the 14, 15. And this one could, I don't like to go bargain hunting. I don't know much about this. I've never actually flown this airline. But if it goes below this, like these things are just beaten up. I'm actually going to do another subsection of this, but with cruise lines and so forth. So you, for Hawaiian Airlines, nah, not really. Not for me right now. A little bit too much beaten up. And last but not least is United. They like to throw people off airplanes. So they actually had an all-time high on the daily of last summer as well, and just been trading sideways between like the 96 and like 82-ish level, and just trading between 82 and 93, for quite some time. And of course, since beginning of the year, kind of had a crushing lower with some earnings and guiding down, most likely it looks like, gapping down a couple days here, and just of course falling like a hot knife, basically falling from 96, yikes, that's a lot, to that. So we're talking literally a 50% cut, and I like 50% cuts. That is kind of looking kind of attractive there. We're gonna put it here on the weekly chart. It is near its RSI on the weekly, so this could be a potential bottom here. But again, these long red candles with just really long candles are very difficult to kind of come off. So the example I give is, you see the long candles here, and the candles get shorter and shorter and shorter. You kind of want to see that on the way down. If it's still like a huge candle like this, and then there's smaller red candles, that's just meaning there's more capitulation, there's less selling, there's not a wide range on a daily basis. So it kind of basically says that people are actually coming in and buying, because we're having huge volume here as well the last couple days. So long story short, I love LUV, Southwest Airlines. Oops, I mistyped that. I know all these airlines look absolutely terrible, but this is one of the better performers. I do want to see how it reacts coming Monday. We could have a bounce. I don't know. It's all up in the air. I have a feeling that this might most likely go lower because it kind of needs to be flushed out some more. But that being said, Love and then probably Delta, which is DAL, are one of my favorites, and the ones I'll be adding. DAL, adding to my my watch list for the long-term trades. Basically, these have been beaten up quite a bit, and I kind of like get things on discount, especially for my longer-term investments. And all of them, I actually do pay a dividend, right? So this one pays a dividend. Yep, LUV I think pays a dividend. Most of them do. Yeah, 18 cents on a $45 stock. That's not bad, right? And then on a $45 stock, you get 40 cents. So Delta's got a little bit of higher dividend than them. Delta has more broader expansion than Love, but Love or Delta, depending on how you're looking at it. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace!